Good morning, everybody. It is day 7 of building the business. And what I have come to realize is in doing a search on YouTube that there is not a whole lot. I think that this is a really niche crowd of folks that are out building vacation rental businesses. So I think that we're a really small group of people out there that are actually trying to build this type of business. And what I've noticed is there's not a whole lot of information out there on building one of these businesses and like the actual process of getting those getting leads and getting sales and building the business and the way to properly build it and the back office stuff and all of that. In these first 7 days, I haven't talked a whole lot about back office stuff or anything like that. I will get into that. I've been in this business for a long time. Just as a hobby, so I've also built a back office software called Vacation Back Office. And so we will get into these types of things and we'll talk about these types of things. But what I really I think that there's a lot of value in is actually just keeping going as I go to attempt to build this into a real business, meaning, not a hobby, right? If you buy you a couple of properties and you're managing them, and even though you've got a business license, and even though you might be making revenue and profits and all of that good stuff, you have a business, but you're not in business. If you don't have a plan to grow, if you're not growing, if your business has not got a growth plan, your growth plan may not be working, right? Like you may not be growing because you're, of all kinds of types of reasons. But if you don't have like a sales plan, meaning you don't like, okay, if I do these things right here, then this business is going to continue to grow and grow and grow. You don't really have a business, right? It's a hobby. And so, as I build from my hobby into an actual business, I think it is very helpful that you guys get to go along for the ride and be a part of that. And as the channel subscribers grow, and just plug for that, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because I promise you, as we're 80 days in, 90 days in, 120 days in, 365 days in, you're not going to want to miss, right? Like, so my videos, they may be scattered right now. They may be what you would consider maybe unprofessional, things like that. But one thing about me is I start, and as I keep going through the process, I get better and better, and I find better ways to do things. And one thing's for sure, I don't quit. So we're going to keep doing this. You're going to get a lot of valuable information on how to build one of these vacation rental businesses. And I think that instead of doing like, I probably, what I need to do is these business videos in the mornings need to be just kind of a rambling on session, right? Brainstorming session. And I'd love to get your comments and things like that. And then as there's nuggets that are in those videos, maybe I take that content and make it into a video just specifically about that content, so it can like be principled like types of content. But right now we're just going to keep going as we're going, and every day I run into something new and that I need to share with you. So if I make all of these daily videos about a certain subject, then I may miss very valuable content that may have been the one thing that helped you or got you to the next level or got you over a hump. And so couple of the things, this video was going to be about services, right? So like, and how to properly build a business from day one, right? So that we're not vertically building it in like in a way that when we get so high it falls over, but we're building it with a really good foundation. So as we go up, we can keep building up and keep building up and keep building up, because we built it from the beginning with a really, really good foundation. We built it with the idea to scale. And even though today, I haven't really thought too much about, scale in the fact that, I'm like anybody else. I want to live a simple life. I want to have nice things, and I want to be able to go on cruises and vacations and travel and do awesome things. And I want to be able to help my church, and I want to be able to help my family and my friends, and I want to be able to provide great jobs. I want to do all of those things. But, I don't want to be I'm not real interested in being Elon Musk or, a Jeff Bezos. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I don't want to be, ultra billionaire. And maybe you do, but maybe you also don't. But that doesn't take away from the fact that, when we're building a business, we really need to think about how we scale that business. We need to think about it from day one as if we were going to sell that business, because it is very possible that in the future you'll want to sell that business. And the best businesses are the businesses that, and the easiest ones to sell are the ones that, one, make a profit, and two, make a profit without the owner being a part of it, right? So if I can own a business that I don't actually have to be a part of that business, I don't have to be a part of the day-to-day running. Means I set up my business from the day one to be self-sufficient so that it can run without me. It has systems and processes involved in it that doesn't require me. Then it makes the multiple in which I could sell that business for much more valuable than if that business totally required me. Because if the business totally required me, like my business right now, it's my hobby, but if I was to die today, my business is really, other than the property we own, is absolutely worthless, because nobody in my family right now in acquaintance with me can run this business without me. It requires me. It requires a lot of my time, even though I have automated a lot of stuff and I can put in not as many hours as you would think to be able to keep it running. It still does require me. So I want to change that in the fact that now that I'm ready to start visiting on, like, okay, I want to build this business and thinking about what I want to be a part of that business, I have got to start thinking right now on what does that really mean? Like, what parts of this business am I going to tackle? Right? I mean, obviously it all depends on how much income you need, right? I mean, like, to be honest, you want to build a business as streamlined as possible, right? You want to get the product right first. You want to have an extremely good product. In our business, it's vacation rentals. So some of this advice, can span other different business types, but as a whole is our product. We want to be able to make sure that we're able to provide the very product that we're selling, which is the management, right? So we've got to be able to have, we got our listings down, we got our pricing down, we've got our paying the taxes and paying the owners, we got all of that down, right? We got guest experience down, we've got property setup down, we've got property maintenance down, we got property cleaning down, we got all of those things down, and we've got those right. And so we have this product, right, which gives us something to sell. But it takes a little bit of time. You can't building a vacation rental business is something that you can't do seemingly overnight, right? So if I sign a property today, likely, they're having to transition from another vacation rental company, or maybe they just bought it. Who knows? But you're going to have time to get the listing up. Then you're going to have time to get those rentals in. And then, always we run a month behind. So we're not getting any money for at least a month after the first rentals start to come in. So this could be a 90 to 120 day process before you ever see any money, right? It could be 150 days or 180 days. I mean, it could be a long process before you start realizing money on those first things. But in the meantime, you're going to spend a lot of money to get those things done. So in yesterday's talk, I talked about the rocket, right? And having the things on it like the boosters and things like that that are auxiliary to getting to the actual rocket, to the main thing. When you get to space, the rocket's what you have. You don't have all of the auxiliary stuff. You just needed that stuff to get you where you wanted to be. And in this business, we may need to do things that is different from our main business, like offering services, right? We might have to offer, if our specialty is cleaning, we might have to, in building a vacation rental business, we might have to offer a cleaning service to others to be able to get the income necessary to be able to build up the business until we get to where we want to be. Or we might need to offer maintenance services if that's what we can do. Or we might have to offer experiences, until we can build up our business, right? You might have a Jeep and you might be able to do tours of your place. And what you do is you start offering tours to these other vacation rental companies as a special experience that they can offer to their people. Or maybe you're a chef and you're able to offer, it's like, hey, I'll go to this community and they can all come and then I'm going to make some special food and I'm going to teach classes and I'm going to do all these things. There's all kinds of things, all kinds of different methods in which you can go about this. But one thing that we need to think about, well, actually more than one thing, right? Two things we need to think about. We need to think about, how does this, how can we streamline it, right? Like, let's just take the thing that I'm going to do, right? So two of the things that I'm going to do to build this business, or I've been thinking of, to build my vacation rental business and get it off the ground pretty quickly, keeping in the fact that, I have already got a business that runs and is self-sufficient right now, right? It doesn't make a whole lot of profit, right? But at least it's already taken care of its general expense. So it's, I can add on, whatever I add on now is almost pure profit, right? So I'm at that profitability stage. And so it's in the black, and I can go farther in the black. So two things I'm looking at offering are services like maintenance services, so home services. And the other option I'm looking at is offering like inspection services, because, we can go in and, cleaners clean, right? But they don't really understand hospitality. They don't really understand like guest experience. They're there to clean and they miss stuff. And an inspector comes in and it's like, that's the person that comes in and it's like, okay, I'm looking at this from the eyes of the guest, and I'm looking for things that I would look for as a guest, and I'm straightening picture frames. I am, adjusting the pillows. I'm adjusting the lampshade. I'm making sure that there's towels. I'm making sure that there's nothing left in the freezer. I'm making sure the drawers were closed. I'm making sure, the knobs aren't falling off. I'm looking for any kind of maintenance issues. I'm doing those things. So that's one of the services that I was looking at offering. Now, so one thing to look at is the services that you're going to offer and how you could streamline those services, right? So let's say that I'm offering maintenance service. One maybe really bad way to go about it would be to start off and be like, okay, anything that goes wrong in the cabin, we'll take care of it. If your hot tub goes down, if your toilet's leaking, if, your fan's falling off the ceiling, if somebody breaks a piece of furniture, if your refrigerator's broke, if your dishwasher's broke, if your sink is leaking, we're going to come in and take care of that. That's one way to do it, right? Now that's going to make it a lot harder and a lot more complicated at the beginning, because you may not have a lot of systems and stuff in place to handle all those things. But think about this. Maybe you streamline, and instead of offering all kinds of services like that, maybe the services you offer are just a small bucket list of different things that you will take care of, like wobbly fan, toilet leaking, right? Anything that has to do with the toilet. Maybe you only offer hot tub service. Maybe you offer furniture, put together furniture, appliance delivery, all kinds of things, right, that you could offer as a list of regular maintenance issues, things that that you can do personally, or you have somebody that can do those things, and they're simple enough, and maybe they're not at the higher end of things that you could do. But what you don't want to get into is right from the get-go is you're like, we'll just do a plethora of anything, and then you get bogged down in your business and you're not allowed to grow because you're kind of doing anything, and you get stuck doing this 4-day job, and now you can't take any other jobs because you're stuck doing a 4-day job. Now you're not growing your business, and maybe you didn't even price that 4-day job right because you didn't know it was going to take you 4 days, or it ended up taking you 8 days, and then you're finally you get this person and they got you renovating their whole property, and then you're 3 years into it and you haven't made any money, you haven't grown your company, you've kept afloat, but you're busy, but you've taken away from the goal. We got to remember that the goal is to build a business that doesn't require you, right? So you can keep continuing to build your business. We need streamline. So think about your services. Think about offering a smaller portion of those services, select down to every detail that exactly, like it's just cookie cutter, systematic. It's like, offer this, meaning you could take their credit card over the phone and you can, go do the service and then come back. It's not like I got to go out here and estimate it. I got to go out here and give them an estimate, and then I got to figure out whether they're going to accept it, and then I'm going to do it. No, I don't want to go out and do an estimate. I want you to book it over online. I'm going to go do it, and then it's done. And then I'm going to, if I get 10 of them in that same area, I'm going to group that service together, and then I'm going to get it out there as a bundle and have one person go and do all of those, right? So you got to get very systematic. So as the owner of the company, the person that's building this business, I want you to think in terms of, from the very get-go, from a automation standpoint, from a streamlined service standpoint, and not just go, and go all over the place. So one thing that, and this is going to be very scattered, and I might end up doing a video on this, or you can go find Alex Hermosi online. He does some really good videos. He put out a really great book. I haven't read it yet, but I want to, from the 0 to 100 million leads or something like that is what it's called. But I liked something that I heard he said, and I don't know if he come up with this himself or if he got it from someone else, but it was very clever. He and I might have to try to draw this out and put it on the screen with you so you can see this, but in more of a visual. But he drew on two sides, and he said, okay, on this side here is a goal when you have like tons of options. Like you have tons of options on things that you could do or routes you could go, right? And how that translates to anxiety. So when you feel anxiety in your business, it means that you have all of these options, all of these things that you could do, right? And that translates to, well, you have too many options, so you need to prioritize those things. You need to scale that down, right? You need to scale it down. You need to prioritize it and do the things that are most important. So when you start feeling anxiety in your business, it probably means that when it comes to building your business, you probably have too many options and you need to prioritize it. And then on the other side, he was saying that if you start feeling hopeless, like you feel hopeless and despair, in your business, when you're thinking on building your business, like it's day 7, right? You're building your business. It's day 7. You don't know what to do. It's like, I don't know what to do. You'll start feeling hopeless because you need to think, okay, when I feel hopeless, it means that I don't know what to do. So it means I'm uninformed. So I need to get informed. So it's something that can be solved, right? It's a solvable problem. You need to get informed. So that's what you're going to do. And I really did like that. And then jumping back to, because and how that relates to what I'm talking about is when you're looking at like saying offering services in this, like you're trying to build your business, you know what your main business is, but you need to get launched into space where you really want to be to get to the goal. So you're going to have to offer auxiliary things to be able to get you there, because everything counts at that point, right? And you got to be careful in listening to rich people, right? Because rich people will tell you, because you can listen to Alex Hormozy, but he's probably not the best person to listen to when you're broke. Because if you're listening to Alex Hormozy and you're broke and you're starting a business, and I'm not meaning broke, but I'm just meaning that you don't have millions of dollars, right? He'll say, do it the hard way. Do it the right way, but the right way is always the hard way. You got to do the work. You got to get there. You got to build it right. And there's ways that you can do stuff and build something right without not making money for a long, long, long time. But that might not be reality for you, because, when you have millions of dollars, you can, take that time, and you don't need to make any money, and you don't have to take any money out of the business, and it helps the business flourish, right? And helps the business grow. But, in most cases, if you don't have millions of dollars, it means you'd have to have another job, and you don't have the time then to put to the business, so you can't grow the business. So there is sometimes where you get to this situation where, what he's saying is good advice for a millionaire, right? What he's saying is good advice for somebody that doesn't have to take an income, right? But it may not be good advice if you want to build a business and you need to make money on it. Means you need to pull money out of that business to help that. And because you are the asset to the business, right? Your time, your energy is going into it, and you need to get paid for that if you don't already have the assets available. So that means you might have to add auxiliary services to get you to where you want to be so that you can get an income, because there are things in the service business can quickly grow. You can grow those and you can make plenty of money. But when you think about these things, you need to be thinking about it in the fact that I need to streamline that, because you don't want to have all these options, right? And then you're going to get anxiety because you won't know how to fulfill all of these things, right? You need something doable, right? Heck, even if you sold one service, I fix toilets, right? For $325. If your toilet's leaking, I'll fix your toilet, right? I just need to find, a guy that can fix toilets really good. And then I got to pay him this much, and I need to make this much. So I got to get on the phone and sell people on fixing toilets, because there's plenty of toilets leaking all around your vacation rental area. So you don't have to have a 10-page menu of things. You can do a very specific group of things very, very well. Because if I go down to that specific task, right, on those specific lists of things, then if I just fix toilets, then I could have all of the stuff with me that I know I'm going to need. So I don't have to then get there and go shopping. I already know what I'm going to charge, right? I already know I'm going to charge for it, so I can charge the customer up front, and I can get there, and I know I'm going to have the tools and the stuff that I need to fix any toilet. I might even carry a toilet with me just in case that I needed to switch it out. And then you would have that toilet with you, so you didn't have to go and then go shopping, right? So there's all kinds of things that we could do if we streamline. The other thing is like, if you're going to get into service business, we're talking about things that don't involve you, right? You need to build it to where it doesn't involve you from the beginning. You are the business owner. You are setting up a business that is, because listen, other people have businesses of fixing toilets, right? So if I can either at first I can use another business, another guy that wants to white label, work for me. I get the leads. He charges me a certain amount. I'm just the middleman. Later, I might be like, I got 500 toilets a day to fix. So I just need to hire somebody, and I can make a lot more money, and it'll be a lot better for me to do that. But at the beginning, you need to make it totally automated. So that means that you need to set you up things like a call center, right? I'm not going to take calls for people wanting to, if I don't have a place for them to book online, I need to have a place for them to book online. I need to have a place for them to be able to make a phone call. And when they make that phone call, I need somebody on the other end of that phone to be able to answer the phone, sell the appointment, get the credit card information, and process that, put it on my calendar, and we go do the job. So you can do that. You just got to be looking into those things, break down everything that you're going to do. You got to be really smart about how you go about setting these things up. So just for example, myself, I'm doing that very thing today. That's my task of the day, is to decide on which services that I'm going to offer, because I'm going to use services as a way to propel our business, our vacation rental business, to where we want to be. I'm hoping by this time next year, we'll have a lot more, managed properties on our roster, right? And we may do services for a year. The next year, we may not offer services outside of our vacation rental company. We may only service what we manage, because we may have a way, because we're going to provide such great service and such great vacation rentals, and we're going to make, one of our big things is we're going to make investors, their money is going to be passive, because we're going to do it all. We're going to take care of everything. So once we do that, there's not a whole lot of word of mouth in our business, but I do think that we can do a whole lot. So, that's the big plan. So I'm getting a phone call, so now I'm all combobulated. I can't even remember what I was going to say. Yeah, so I think I covered everything. We're talking about services. We're talking about how we're going to build our business and what I was going to do today, and that is mine. I got to narrow down my list, make it a very small inkling of stuff that we're going to offer in the beginning. We could add to it later, right? We add complication after we perfect the small thing, right? So first I got to get the list of services. Then I got to get a way to handle the services. And then once I have a way to handle the service, these services that I'm going to have, then, and all of that's automated, then we get into sales, right? Then we start selling it. It's that simple. And we'll go from there. But that's what I'm doing. That's what you should be doing. So if you're starting out on this business, right, and you've found these videos, right, it's day 7. You should be thinking about, how am I going to propel my business, and how am I going to, narrow down those services that I can do, and how can I make sure that I'm building it right now. It may cost you some money. I'm sorry. Things cost money. It costs money to make money. So you're going to need money. I mean, and that's just a fact. So you're going to get somebody, you need somebody to answer the phone. You shouldn't be answering the phone. Don't you answer the phone. Don't you be answering the phone. Get somebody else to answer the phone. If you need to go fix the toilet, you can go fix the toilet. If you need to go do the inspection, you can do the inspection. But with the idea that as this thing grows, you won't be the one fixing the toilet. You won't be the one doing the inspection unless you've got a really good reason for that. You want to build your business without you. So if you can do it from the beginning, it's even better, right? Get somebody else to fix the toilet. Find somebody. People. Get on Facebook. There's people out there. Go find them. Make deals with them. Everybody wants to make money. So you can find people, they'll do it, and they'll do it right. And if you find somebody that's not doing it right, go find somebody else. And the other thing that I have a tip for you today before I forget, and because it happens to me all the time, and it can be really discouraging, and you don't want it to discourage you, and you want to protect yourself from it, especially if you're not a person that, if you're often swayed by others, right? And you don't already clearly have in your mind what you want to do, and you're not inner driven by another force, right? So God is He's my counselor. So I already know what I need to be doing. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know how and often I talk to people about this, and or what I'm doing, and they start discouraging you. Oh, well, it's really hard to get employees. Golly, you're not going to be able to find anybody to work, and the stock market's going to crash, and that whole area, Pigeon Forge, it's all going to go down. Next year nobody's going to be spending any money, and that whole town's going to go down. You shouldn't be doing that. You can't. It's like, why would you want to build a vacation rental business in the middle of a recession? And why would you home services? You want to own home services? You're not going to be able to find anybody to do the work, and workman's comp, and so they'll fill you with all kinds of stuff, right? They'll fill you with all kinds of stuff. Get that stuff out of your mind. Be positive. Look forward with an optimistic view. What another person can do, you can do. And here is the thing that I've always done, even back in the days when I used to do sales. Because when I used to do sales, there was always people in the business. They were like, oh, because I used to sell cars, and they'd be like, oh, nobody's going to be buying cars. Nobody's going to be right. It's the end of the car business. Nobody's ever going to buy another car, and what I would do, I would be like, I wouldn't listen to that, because what I would do, and what I've always done in my mind, and you one of these, but what I've always done is I'm always going out to get something like my Dunkin Donuts coffee, which is sitting here getting very cold, and that's not very good right here at the end of it when it's cold. Hold on one second. But I always did stuff like, going out and get a coffee, or before I worked at home. When I work from home now, so it's like, I got to get out of the house, so I go get a coffee in the morning, afternoon, and I'm always like, if I see people running up and down the road, the cars are running up and down the road, and there's traffic, and there's people going up and down the road, and there's lots of cars on the road, guess what? I know the economy is still moving, because our economy is based on the velocity of money, how fast that we spend money. And if I'm out still spending money, then other people are out still spending money, and so everything is just going to be fine. So don't listen to the negative naysayers in your family, your friends, your colleagues. Don't listen to them. Just keep pushing forward. You know what you need to do. Get on here. Listen to me. I'll keep you motivated. I'll keep you accountable. So you just keep going. Keep driving. You know what you need to do. Business is easy. Just do the things that you know you need to do. Create a good product. Don't try to sell a product that sucks, right? If you got a sucky product, you don't know how to manage. Anything you do manage right now doesn't make any money. The people you're managing for right now are losing money. And you're like, what are you going to do with it? Well, I'm going to market it. Why? You're marketing a product that's bad. Fix your product first. This was another Alex Hermosi thing. I like this guy. I don't like his language, but I like him. Fix your product first and then market it, right? That's the first thing. But this is real easy. You will figure it out. Stay with it, stick with it, and we'll stick with Host Possible, and we'll get us some information out here. And you guys watch me build this business day in and day out, and we'll see how long it takes to get to where this rocket is in space, where we want it to be. Till next time.